Did the Golden State Warriors just reveal the secret weapon that could bring them back to the finals? Because what happened in this preseason game wasn't just another warm-up, it was a statement. A lineup nobody expected suddenly clicked, a young gun finally looked ready to explode, and a veteran who barely scored somehow controlled the entire game without touching the box score. This wasn't the Warriors you remember from last season. This was something sharper, faster, smarter, and if you blinked, you probably missed the moment everything changed. Nobody saw this coming. Pat Spencer walked into this game like a quiet afterthought, a name most fans barely recognized, and walked out like a man who'd been running the Warriors' offense for years. From his first possession, you could feel something different, calm, composed, almost too comfortable for a preseason stage. Within minutes, Spencer had taken control of the floor like a seasoned floor general. He wasn't forcing anything, no flashy dribbles, no desperate shots, just smooth, patient basketball. Every possession had rhythm, every pass had purpose. It's the kind of playmaking that doesn't show up in the highlight reels, but it completely changes the tempo of a game. He dropped 12 points, dished 4 assists, and barely broke a sweat doing it. What stood out most wasn't the stat line, it was how everyone around him looked better. The ball moved faster, the spacing opened up, and the bench that usually looks chaotic suddenly looked like a real, functioning unit. And when the Lakers tried to close that space, Spencer read the defense like an open book, slipping into passing lanes, finding cutters, and keeping everyone engaged. It was the kind of composure that screams, "This guy belongs." For a player fighting for minutes, he didn't look desperate. He looked ready. And the crazy part? He wasn't even the biggest story of the night. Finally, this is the Moses Moody Warriors fans have been waiting for. Confident, explosive, and completely locked in, like he'd been carrying this version of himself in the shadows, just waiting for the right night to unleash it. From the first possession, you could feel the energy shift. Every time Moody touched the ball, the crowd held its breath, and with good reason. Step backs, pull-ups, catch-and-shoot threes from the corner that barely even touched the rim. It was effortless. He finished with 19 points, hitting 7 of his 9 shots, including 5 deep threes, and somehow made it all look routine. But the numbers only tell half the story. The way he carried himself, calm, collected, never rushed, that's what screamed growth. It wasn't just that he was hitting shots, it was that he knew when to take them. And here's the scary part for the rest of the league, Moody didn't force a single thing. He found pockets of space, read Curry's movement perfectly, and thrived off the chaos that Golden State's offense creates. Every time the defense tilted toward Steph, Moody punished them. The bench went wild when he drilled his 5th three, not because of the shot itself, but because they all knew what it meant. This wasn't just a hot hand. This was a young player finally stepping into the role the team had envisioned for him years ago. And you could feel it, that unspoken question hovering around the arena. If Moses Moody keeps playing like this, whose minutes is he taking? Because one thing was clear, he's not waiting anymore. The Warriors didn't bring in Buddy Hield just to watch him shoot threes. They brought him in because he knows how to win possessions. And from the moment he stepped on the floor, that experience was on full display. It wasn't flashy, it was clinical. Hield didn't need to dominate the ball. He simply moved, read the floor, and punished every defensive mistake. Slip screen here, fade to the corner there, and before the Lakers could blink, he'd buried them with another deep jumper. He finished with 11 points, but his value went far beyond the box score. Every time he shared the floor with the bench unit, the game just looked cleaner. The offense had spacing. The ball moved faster. The energy was contagious. At one point, Golden State's second unit, led by Hield, Horford, and Spencer, outscored the Lakers' bench by nearly 50 points. That's not an accident. That's veteran basketball at its finest, reading the game, communicating, staying one step ahead of the defense. And if you watched closely, you could see Hield's fingerprints all over it, directing traffic, calling cuts, guiding the younger guys through each possession. He might not be the face of this team, but in a roster filled with scorers, he's becoming the glue that holds everything together. The Warriors didn't just get another shooter. They got a stabilizer. Someone who turns chaos into control. And the key to that balance? It came from someone who barely even scored, yet changed the entire feel of the game. 3 points. That's all he scored. But if you only looked at the box score, you completely missed the story. Al Horford didn't need the spotlight, he was the stability. While everyone else chased highlights, Horford quietly dictated the flow of the game. His rotations were flawless, his communication constant, and his timing perfect. When the Lakers tried to drive the lane, he was already there, arms up, space sealed, forcing a kick out. When the Warriors' young guys looked a step too eager, Horford calmed them down with just a glance or a quick nod. It's that subtle presence, the kind of leadership you can't teach, but every team needs. He ended the night with 3 points, 3 blocks, 3 assists, and 4 rebounds, but his impact was everywhere. He covered mistakes before they turned into breakdowns. He talked the bench through defensive switches. He even orchestrated a few possessions like a point guard, guiding spacing from the top of the key. What makes it special is how effortless he makes it look. Horford doesn't chase momentum, he creates it, slowly, quietly, until suddenly the entire second unit is moving like a single machine. That's what veteran IQ does. It doesn't show off, it elevates everyone else. And when the Warriors bench was running circles around the Lakers, you could trace it all back to Horford, the anchor behind the calm. Nobody expected the Warriors bench to dominate like this. Not in the preseason, not against the Lakers. But the moment that second unit hit the floor, everything changed. Ball movement, communication, energy. It was like watching a completely different team, one that played without ego, without hesitation, and with total control. You could see it in the way the ball zipped around. From Spencer, to Hield, to Horford, to Moody, for quick passes, and the defense was already lost. Every possession felt like a clinic in unselfish basketball. The Lakers tried switching defenders, pressing higher, forcing traps, it didn't matter. The Warriors bench picked them apart, over and over, until the scoreboard started to look unreal. At one point, the plus-minus for that group hit plus 49, a ridiculous number for any game, let alone a preseason matchup. But it wasn't just the scoring, it was the chemistry, the trust, the way veterans and young players seemed to move like they'd been doing this for years. You could see Horford calling out rotations while Spencer controlled tempo, Hield floating to open space before Moody hit him with a no-look dime. It wasn't about talent, it was about flow. That's the kind of thing you can't fake in preseason. It's what separates good teams from great ones, when the bench isn't just surviving, it's winning games. And as the Lakers starters watched from the bench, there was this quiet realization spreading through the arena. The Warriors might have just found something dangerous. This wasn't just a preseason win, it was a message. For the first time in a long time, the Golden State Warriors looked balanced, deep, organized, and unpredictable. Not just a team relying on Steph's magic or Klay's shooting, but a complete system with layers, veterans who know how to win and young players finally stepping into their moment. Moses Moody proved he's ready to be more than a role player. Pat Spencer showed he can steady an offense. Buddy Hield brought the IQ and rhythm that championship teams thrive on. And Al Horford? He turned a random preseason lineup into a fully functional machine. What this game revealed wasn't just potential, it was identity. The Warriors aren't trying to recreate their old dynasty. They're building something new, something more adaptable, more balanced, and maybe more dangerous. You could see it in the way the ball moved. The defense talked. The bench celebrated every hustle play like it was Game 7. That's not preseason energy, that's culture. And if this version of the Warriors is just getting started, then maybe, just maybe, the dynasty isn't done yet. It's evolving. Every dynasty has its turning point, that quiet moment when everything starts to click again. For the Golden State Warriors, this might have been it. It wasn't about the score. It wasn't about who started or who sat. It was about the message behind the game, that this team still knows how to build, how to adapt, and how to win. From Pat Spencer's composure, to Moses Moody's breakout, to Buddy Hield's steady hand and Al Horford's calm control, the Warriors showed something far more valuable than stats, they showed depth. And depth wins championships. If this was just a glimpse of what's coming, the league better pay attention, because the Warriors aren't fading away, they're reloading. So the real question is, did we just witness the start of Golden State's next era? Let us know what you think. Who impressed you the most in this game? Drop your thoughts below. And if you're ready for more breakdowns like this, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned, because this season is about to get crazy.